Hello, hello, everyone. We've got you all joining in. Welcome, welcome. And it takes a few minutes these days, like Zoom has to have time to connect, right? Love seeing you all. We've got a great group tonight. We're really excited. Let's see, we've got another one in the waiting room. We want to make sure that no one is in the waiting room. My goal is to not leave anyone in the waiting room. Getting everyone.
That's cool, Jen. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
One time I had started, I have to tell you, one time I started and then I had closed down the participant side so I couldn't see actually.
Oh,
And
no.
this is a while back, I wasn't really good at Zoom yet. Not that I'm great, but So it's good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're a couple minutes out. So while we're waiting, I did put a message for you all in the chat box. So if you're unfamiliar where the chat box is, typically you can find it at the bottom of your screen. You just kind of hover over there. If it's not showing, if you hover towards the bottom, it should pop up as a menu. And then let me know that you found it by putting in there your favorite oil of all time. So go ahead and chat what that is. And also, where are you joining us from? So Christina says Siberian fir. Oh, yes. I love that, especially this past year, right? Heather says Serenity. Christina's from New Jersey. I'm glad you're joining us today. Penny says frankincense. Awesome. Everyone go ahead and find your chat box, open it up, and you'll see a little message in there from me to, if you have your Purify, tonight everyone has their oils. So that's what's really great is all of you probably have Purify in your stash. If you don't, feel free to grab whatever oil you feel called to kind of purify and cleanse yourself in preparation for the work we're going to do. Many people like to use Breathe. Breathe is another really, really good one for this. So Laura's from Richmond, Virginia, and says balance. Oh yeah, balance, balance, balance. We all need to douse ourselves with that. I usually put that one on in the morning, so I love that. Great. And we've got a couple more people coming in, and they might be a little bit later, and that's all right. So it looks like everyone has found their chat box. Great. And hopefully you have your boxes in front of you and you got my email yesterday. Penny says she's coming in from Council Bluffs, Iowa, and originally from St. Pete, Florida. So, but you are in Iowa right now where it is probably very cold. I can't even imagine the temperature there right now. All right, you guys, we are going to get started. My name is Jennifer Gilman. I'm a Diamond Wellness Advocate with doTERRA, and it is such a pleasure to host this type of event every year. It's called Manifest 2021, and we had our in-person one on Saturday, and that was very special too. So we had to limit the numbers this year for obvious reasons, but we had such a really good time and being able to connect. So I'm really grateful that we can connect in this way this year via Zoom and still make it a great experience for you. So I'm going to start us off actually with a letting go exercise. And as we prepare ourselves for our time together, I wanted you to get Purify. So if you have Purify, go ahead and put a drop in your hands, okay? Just a drop in your hands. If you don't have Purify, you can use whatever oil you feel you need right now. And Breathe is a good one. That's a nice alternative. And go ahead and rub your hands together. All of you veteran oilers, so I'm excited that you already know how to put these on. But the way I'd like you to do it today is definitely take a few moments to breathe in deeply. And breathe in knowing that you're going to have, for the next a little bit over an hour, some really good time to reflect on what it is you're ready to let go of and what you want to manifest. So breathe that in. And then breathe out. And if you feel like it's been a long day and you want to breathe out through your mouth, go ahead and do that. Don't hold it in. Breathe in and sigh out. Breathe in and out. Sometimes it feels good to just let it go and sigh out through your mouth. Breathe that purify in. And now go ahead and apply that on the back of the neck, behind the ears. Got a couple more people in the waiting room. We need to let them in. Okay. And the last thing I want you to do actually with this purify is to go ahead and put it on the forearms. But what you're going to do is actually wipe away from yourself. So the crease of the elbow here, and you're going to just wipe away because we're getting ready to cleanse and let go. And by doing this action, you're really preparing your body, mind, spirit to do exactly just that. So just, you are cleansing yourself and just so ready to bring some new things into your life in 2021, right? So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about why we used Purify. And some of you are familiar with this, maybe some of you aren't, but the essential emotions. I have actually one of the older versions here. But Purify Blend has many different oils in it, and it assists individuals in releasing toxic emotions and entering a cleansing state. We want that, right? And it revitalizes the energy system, washing away negative influences. This blend supports individuals who feel trapped by negativity and toxicity. Purify provides freedom from past habits and patterns. So there's quite a bit more information in there. And if you have this book, I encourage you to take a look at it, and you'll learn a little bit more about why I chose this oil. And it's just a beautiful one. So I'd love for you to, a few more people joined us. What we just did is just used our Purify to help us cleanse our body and our mind, our spirit, and be ready for our time together. So you can always use that as well. Now I'm going to share my screen because I'd like to introduce actually our first speaker. She was not able to join us tonight, and so she recorded her message, which she had done live on Saturday. And I have the pleasure of introducing my 17-year-old daughter, Bella Saidi. And she has done a lot of work over the past year. So although in the past I had talked about letting go, I wanted you guys to hear from her because this was really fresh. The work that she's done since COVID started till now is pretty remarkable. And it's nice to hear from somebody who had done quite a bit of work recently, and also from a different generation, right? So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play this recording for you.
Hey, it's Bella here. Sorry I couldn't be here for the actual live. I am working, so we did a pre-recording of this because I still wanted to be able to speak in this because it's exciting. So I've been through, or going through a lot, especially last year, a lot of self-realization and trying to work on my routines and become a better person. And it's been a tough journey. I've had a lot of stuff that kind of pushed it forward, which at first felt like something that was not very good, but it turned out to be a blessing. And I just wanted to share a couple of things that have helped me a lot, like through the process of letting go and just being happy with who I am. So the first one was awareness, coming to terms with everything. It's very hard to admit when you are having trouble, or when there's parts of you you don't like. Sometimes you just want to sulk in your own, by yourself. But coming out like into the world and telling people that you love that you're having trouble is just the first step, because you really put it out there, and now it's out there to be worked on, to be fixed, instead of having just all these things that you carry around. Forgiveness was the second one, something that was very hard for me. I blamed a lot of people for all my problems, like my father, friends, past people that I don't like to mention. But you can blame people you want, and that's fine, but eventually you have to forgive them, whether they deserve it or not, but for you. And that's a concept that is a little tough to understand, but once you do, you feel so much lighter. They might not ever deserve your forgiveness, but they're always going to have a hold over you as long as you're resenting them, as long as you're blaming them, whether they know it or not, whether they think about you or not, ever, they still have a hold on you, and you don't deserve that. The one thing you deserve more than anything is just to let these people go, let these burdens go so you can live your life. And so it took a while. I forgave them, and then I had to forgive myself because I was upset with myself for letting things happen. So I wrote a couple letters that I never sent. I just burned them, but it felt really good to do that. And it wasn't, didn't work like that at first. The letters were a start, but you can't ever expect that to be like the ultimate thing, and all of a sudden you never have to do anything. It took a lot of months after that of continuing to realize that whether I think about it or not, it's okay, and just forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving. It's like an endless cycle, but one day you wake up and you realize that you feel a lot more at peace, and then it was all worth it. So you just got to keep going. And being open-minded. I was not a very open-minded person less than a year ago. But when I started to realize that there's so much more, so many more ways to look at something, I started finding my answers. Well, I don't like to say answers because I feel like there's always ways to like improve on things, but I started finding things that felt good to me and made me feel better and made me happier. And trying new things, even if they're a little uncomfortable, can be just what you need. Or realizing that maybe you were attacking something at like just this one angle, and if you step back and realize you've wasted all this, or not wasted all this time, you spent all this time on one thing trying to get somewhere, you realize that there's so much more. And trying out every little thing, even if it's strange to you, can be just what you need to solve a problem. I'm trying to be as broad as I can. Not a very good, haven't done speeches before, second one. But the point is that just have an open mind. Be open to the idea that you will, find it, whether it takes this or whether you have to go on a nature retreat or just listen to your signs, listen to the universe, whatever you believe in, and it will guide you through it. I truly believe that. You just, be more open to the world, and that's something I've worked on as well. So I have a couple quotes that I really like that I wrote down that I wanted to share. The first one is, to release all expectations is to step out of what you think should be and step into what is with an open mind and a full heart. And the second one is, the definition of courage, to speak one's mind by telling one's heart. A lot of people think being courageous means being a big hero, but being honest with yourself about how you feel, even if you're afraid that people are going to judge you, opening up with vulnerability, that's courageous. So that's a big thing to know. And just a really short one that's my favorite of all time. It's on my whiteboard. It's on everything I do. It's okay. Forgive. That's it. It's okay. Sometimes it's really that simple. So thank you for listening. I hope that you got something out of this and maybe take a step forward. And I hope this year brings so much abundance in every area. And I listened to this in person, and all the people who are speaking are absolutely amazing. And just there's so much to learn. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of this. Bye.
So that was Bella. Of course, I'm tearing up right now. But it's just, I thought, a good, fresh perspective for you on letting go from somebody who just recently did a lot of work, and also a different age group, right? So I'm really, really happy to have been able to record that, to share that with you. Now we're going to actually, it's great to see your comments, you guys. I love it. Thank you, Bella. Being honest, how you feel hits home with what I need to work on. That's great. I love that. Thank you. I'm going to share those comments with her. What we're going to do now is actually put pen to paper. So get your paper out. because we need to make room. We need to make room for what we want to manifest, which means we need to get rid of some of the clutter, get rid of the things that you're ready to let go of. So we're going to take a few moments and start writing. Just start writing all those things that you want to let go of. And so you could start doing that right now. I am going to give you a few prompts, just some ideas to get you started, because some people have a hard time getting started with this. So I'll give you a few of those, and then we'll have a little bit of silence. I'll play a little bit of music for a couple of minutes while you guys finish up. And so you can start writing on your paper all those things you want to get rid of. So here's a few prompts. And if you get finished and you have some prompts you want to share with others, or maybe you want to share a couple of the things you're ready to let go of, I'd love for you to chat in the chat box. We are a community, we are a tribe, and helping each other through this is just so, it's priceless. So you might want to be, maybe you're ready to let go of any kind of judgment or criticism. Maybe you're ready to let go of comparison, which is so awful. It's very poisonous. So it's like, I'm always working on that, letting go of that comparison. Maybe you'd like to just let go of fear, having the thought of fear on a daily basis. You're ready to let that go. Maybe you're ready to let go of a relationship that is just not serving you anymore, or possibly to create new boundaries around it, because right now you have unhealthy boundaries around that relationship. So hopefully that helped you, these prompts, to start helping you to just free flow, just start writing everything you're ready to let go of. And we'll just take a couple more minutes for that before we burn them. And as you're finishing up, if you want to go ahead and grab whatever you have to burn. So what I have here is like, we use this every year, actually, the burning bucket. But I encouraged you to have maybe a pot or something that you can actually do this on with your lighter. So I want you to really, before you burn it, you might have something to say to it, to release that, whatever it is. You've got yourself muted, so do whatever you need to do to be ready to let go of this. It might be saying a prayer over it, thank you for being there, but now I no longer want you. You might thank it first and get rid of it. It could be anything. So go ahead and take that moment and light it up in flames. All right, you guys? So go ahead and do that. Make sure you use the bucket. We don't want any house fires, all right? So I put a bunch of things on the other side of this paper, and then just go ahead and put it in the bucket. And just let that go. So we have a couple of minutes, and I don't know if anyone would like to share. It would be great to hear from just 2 or 3 people if you wanted to unmute yourself if you're comfortable, and you can either just share quickly how that felt to you, or maybe you want to tell us something that you actually are ready to let go of.
Jennifer,
Yes.
this is Shelley.
Hi, Shelley.
Hi. It is so funny. I wrote on there, trying to not always be in control. And I burned it. But do you know, I also too have a big glass of water beside me. So just in case I was to catch the house on fire.
Right.
I'm trying to burn, trying to let go of always being in control, but yet here I've got prepared, being in control with a glass of water.
Well, I'm going to call that smart, though.
Myself.
Thank you so much for sharing, Shelley. How about one more person? Would someone else like to share?
Sure. What I feel is liberated. Whoa. And what's so funny is it was the same as, was it Shelley you said?
Shelley?
Oh my goodness. Control issues, it's the same thing. I realized I'm trying to control things that aren't mine to control at all. And it just feels so liberating to just say, I don't have to do anything with that. Just let it go. Be there to support. This one is doubt. I'm burning doubt right now. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you so much, Penny. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope that now you're ready. You're ready to hear Heather Ione talk about manifesting. And she is an expert at this. She's a manifestation and life coach. And I just feel so blessed to know her. She and I actually went to school together at Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and we became fast friends. We talk about everything and anything, right? That's how we gather our tribe. We're like-minded. So without further ado, Heather Ione, take it away.
Thank you, Jen, and hello, everyone. Welcome to Manifest 2021. I'm so excited to talk to you today because manifestation and the law of attraction is my #1 favorite topic in the entire world. I could talk about it for 12 hours straight and still not be bored. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Heather Ione. I am a spiritual life coach and a manifestation teacher. I'm also host of the Wild Manifestations podcast. And my mission in my coaching practice and in the content that I create in the teachings like this that I do is to help other women to become a deliberate creator of their life through using manifestation and the law of attraction. So there's a couple different ways that I do that. #1, I help people to understand the law of attraction in a much deeper way and share with you content and information about the law of attraction that's different than the same things we hear repeated all the time on all of the blogs and stuff like that. I also primarily help people to amplify and enhance their manifestations practices. That way they are more potent, they're more powerful, and they're actually strong enough to work. And because mindset is such a huge component on whether or not we're able to manifest, I do a lot of self-discovery and inner work with my clients. So this is because if you have things like limiting beliefs, or fear or self-sabotage or feelings of unworthiness or a scarcity mindset and all of these other things, you're subconsciously blocking your ability to manifest because you're energetically pushing it away. And lastly, I help people to raise their energetic vibration through different lifestyle practices, wellness practices, and doTERRA essential oils, which make you more magnetic to what you want to manifest. So I do all of this to help us to become a deliberate and intentional creator of our lives. And today I want to help you women to become a deliberate and intentional creator of your life too. So what I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to share with you 3 different ways we can set ourselves up for success in our manifestation practice this year. I'm also going to give you some time for reflection and walk you through a little exercise that you can do to get crystal clear on what you want to manifest and what you want to call in. And then from there, I'm going to share with you 2 different tips, 2 different things that you can do to amplify and enhance 2 of the most common manifestation practices, the vision board and the visualization practice. So with that being said, I'm just going to dive right into it. How can we set ourselves up for success this year in manifestation? Step number 1 seems super, super obvious, but it's not. And it's to decide on what you want to manifest. And I know that this seems obvious, but you would be amazed at how many people do not do this step. And it's because a lot of people, they get really excited about the law of attraction or manifestation when they first learn about it. They're really motivated. So they're like, ooh, it would be nice to have this and this and this and this. And they sort of just rattle off all the things that would be nice to have. And whenever they go into their visualization practice, they start it right away. And every time they go into it, they're thinking of something different. They're thinking of a different car that would be nice to have, a different amount of money, a different place they want a vacation, a different house. And when you do that, you're not really gaining any traction or any momentum in what you want to manifest because you're constantly bouncing around. So the universe is not able to align the physical world to bring you what you want because you're not putting enough focus into one area. So it can't even align to bring you the first thing that you wanted because you've already moved on to 10 different things. So the people who are the most successful with the law of attraction are the people that are extremely focused and clear on what they want to manifest. They know the exact amount of money they want to call in. They know the exact type of car they want to call in, even down to the exact color, right? They know exactly what kind of job they want to have, the kind of environment they want to be in. They think of all of these things. They care about them. They value them. We get borderline obsessed with them. So every time we show up in our manifestation practices, we're focusing on the exact same thing. So step number 1 is to decide on what you want. Step number 2, though, you want to do it kind of at the same time. And it is to decide on why you want to manifest that thing. And the reason being is because a lot of people, when they first learn about manifestation and the law of attraction, they say, oh, I want to manifest 6 figures. I want to manifest 7 figures. It's very common to say, I want $1 million, or I want to manifest winning the lottery. Almost everyone says they want to win the lottery, right? But when you ask people, why do you want to manifest that? Why do you want millions of dollars? It all boils down to the exact same things. People want security. We want freedom. We want comfort, right? We don't actually want the millions of dollars. We want what we believe we will be able to have if we were to get millions of dollars, right? So what a lot of people do is they focus on trying to win the lottery, for example, but they aren't putting enough intention, enough intensity and power and emotion into that, because what they actually want is something different. And what they're doing is this sort of like roundabout manifestation practice where they're like, if I could just have this thing, then I can have what I actually want, which is the business or the dream car or paying my sister's tuition or something like that, right? They think about these other things they want to have. So when they're doing that, they're not gaining any momentum. They're not gaining any traction because they're focusing on something that they don't want. So you want to focus on why you want something so that you can be sure the thing that you're trying to manifest is exactly what you're trying to call in. And you're not doing this sort of roundabout manifestation practice. And I think people do that because we get so caught up and worried about the how that we think, oh, well, the only way to get all these other things is to manifest millions of dollars, right? And that's just not the case. I used to think I had to win the lottery to manifest every single thing that I wanted. And I never won the lottery, but I got every single thing that I wanted, and I didn't have to win the lottery in order to do that. So don't focus on something else. Think about exactly what you want to call in, what your soul is craving, what would make you happy, and get crystal clear on that. So now I'm going to give you ladies some time to write down what you want to call in 2021 and why you want to call that into your physical experience. Jen, do you have some music or something that we can listen to while people write this down?
I do. Let's see how this works here.
Perfect. We're going to do another minute here. So. Does anyone want to share something that they want to manifest this year? Anyone?
I'll go.
Okay.
So Jennifer knows me a little bit. And currently I'm in Puerto Rico expanding a business. So we are manifesting our operations and bringing jobs to the local community. So that is what I am manifesting, at least one of the items I would like to manifest for 2021.
Yeah, I love that too, because you're not just manifesting for yourself, but you're also manifesting for other people. And when we do that, we actually have even more success in our manifestation practices because the universe is on your side. It wants you to help other people, right? It's not always about us, it's about how we can serve other people. So I love that one. That was beautiful.
Oh,
I'm going to, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said thank you. I can use all the good energy possible.
Yes. Yeah, we all need all the good energy right now. But I'm going to move on to step number 3 in this whole manifestation process now. How we can set ourselves up for success in 2021. So this is the third thing that you can do now that you've written it all down and we know what we want to call in. And it is to commit to your manifestation practice. And this is the number one mistake that I see people making with manifestation. I see it in my friends, I see it in my family, in clients, and everywhere. I see it over and over and over again. And it's something called manic manifesting. And this is when people get really excited about the law of attraction manifestation, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do it this time. And they commit to doing their visualization practice and their vision boarding and stuff like that. And they do it for about 3 days and then they stop. And then a couple months later, something reminds them, oh yeah, there's that law of attraction thing. And they get excited again. And they're like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to manifest this stuff this time. So then they do their gratitude practice and their visualizations all over again. And then they give up. And the cycle continues. And they wonder, like, why is the law of attraction not working for me? Why is it working for other people, but it's not working for me, right? So this is called manic manifesting. And when we do that, we are not gaining any traction in our manifestation practice. And I kind of equate it to like trying to get your dream body. Like we all know someone that is like always trying to lose weight. You know, they always talk about how they want to lose like 40 pounds or something like that. And they get excited and they do the thing and they start doing their protein shakes and their meal prep and going to the gym for 3 days. And then they stop. And then of course, 3 days go by, you don't have the 6-pack that you wanted to create, right? Because you're not showing up at the gym. You're not focusing on it. You're not actually committing to it. And the law of attraction is exactly the same way. You have to put time and you have to put energy into it if you want to manifest. So I did this too. I really struggled with committing to the law of attraction and manifestation. But the good news is that it only takes about 3 months of showing up in your manifestation practice to gain enough momentum to create the reality that you want. And Abraham Hicks wrote about this too. They speak on this, but I actually experienced this myself too. When I was 19 years old, I completely committed to my law of attraction practices for 3 months. And within that time, it completely set everything in motion and I was able to manifest the life that I wanted. And the number one thing that I was trying to manifest was a move to Florida. I live in Florida now, by the way, but I was trying to manifest a move to Florida. And I showed up in my visualization practice every single night for about 3 months. And I did not know this, but around the 3rd month is when someone reached out to my dad and wanted to potentially hire him for a position as a GM at a dealership in St. Augustine, Florida. So they started doing the whole process, doing interviews, doing meetings, negotiating and stuff like that. And 2 months after that all started and they were communicating with each other, my mom calls me at school and she's like, hey, it looks like we're going to be moving to Florida. Would you like to come with us? And I was like, yes, of course I want to come with you, right? It wasn't even on my radar at the 3rd month, but it was already happening and it was already put in motion. So if you commit to manifesting what you wrote down, and most importantly, you commit to your manifestation practices, just like going to the gym, you will set that in motion and you will be able to manifest anything that you want, because you'll be putting enough power and intention into it at that point. So now that we've sort of set ourselves up for success, I want to share with you 2 different ways that we can enhance and amplify our manifestation practices so that they work better this year. So number 1 is the vision board practice, right? A lot of us have some experience, at least, with vision boards. But I remember there was a time when I would create my vision boards, and even though I was choosing photos that really resonated with me and spoke to me, for some reason I just couldn't believe it, and I couldn't feel like it was going to happen when I looked at my vision board. And I would be able to really immerse myself in a visualization practice. But with vision boarding, there was this disconnect where I just feel like, I don't know, I don't quite believe it's going to happen. I didn't feel like that connection and that power behind it. So around when I started diving into manifestation really seriously is when I also started going on my spiritual journey as well. And I started noticing that I had a lot of universal signs and symbols of faith that I didn't before. So for example, I would always see yellow butterflies or hawks or shooting stars whenever I was doing meditations or my visualization practices. So I thought, okay, well, how can I amplify my vision board so it works better? And what I started to do is I started to cut out these signs, these universal signs, and my symbols of faith. So when I looked at them incorporated with all of my desires, I felt that instant spiritual connection. I felt like I was divinely supported. I felt like, okay, this is actually going to happen, right? Because it incorporated my spirituality and my faith and my belief in with my desires and in with those visuals that I was seeing. So that's one thing that you can do to enhance your vision board practice. And we all have different universal signs and symbols. It could be anything. It could be anything that just makes you feel like you're connected to a higher power or connected to loved ones who have passed. I know a lot of people, they see cardinals and it really resonates with them, or dragonflies or butterflies. For some people, it could be as simple as a cross or a Buddha head. If that's what does that for you, that's totally fine. Incorporate those in your vision board and you'll be able to connect to it a little bit more. So the next practice is the visualization practice. And that is when you visualize the life that you want to create. You visualize every single thing that you wrote down. And a common piece of advice that people share is to imagine as if it's already happening to you and you are already experiencing that moment, right? But I get super into how can we make this stronger? How can we amplify it? How can we make it more potent? So what I learned works even better is if you create that visual in your mind, look at that visual and think to yourself, okay, how can I make this more lifelike? What details would I be seeing if this was actually happening in real life? If this was actually going on, right? So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can focus on like what sounds you would be hearing, like think about very lifelike details. Like if you're sitting in a coffee shop, you want to pick up the sound of them, like, foaming the milk and stuff like that. You want to think about what would you be wearing? What would you be feeling? What are those physical sensations that would be on your body? What would you feel against your skin? What would you be seeing around you? Tiny little details. One thing that I actually like to focus on is if I'm in a room, I actually will notice where there's like a window in my visualization, and I'll imagine like the dust sort of dancing in the light. So you want to pick up on all these different things, the sounds, the environment, what you would be seeing, what you would be feeling, things that you would only notice if you are actually in that moment in real life. And when you do that, you'll notice that not only do you feel more like you're in that moment, which is going to trick your brain into believing it's actually happening, but your emotions are going to heighten too. And you're going to notice you're more excited, you're more grateful, and it's just sort of going to be this overwhelming visualization practice. So you can really immerse yourself in it. So those were all of the tips and stuff that I wanted to share with you today. If you want to get in touch with me, if you want any more information, my website is heatherione.com. And I actually have a 3-part manifestation video training series that you can download on there. And I have tons of blogs on manifestation. We have another like 30 blog posts coming out very soon with all non-fluff content. My podcast is Wild Manifestations. And if you are looking for more one-on-one support, one-on-one coaching, or help in your manifestation practice, you can always reach out to me too for coaching. I have standalone sessions that I do. I do a manifestation strategy session. I also have breakthrough sessions, which focus more on limiting beliefs and mindset. And I also offer monthly coaching as well. But right now I wanted to sort of open it up. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask about manifestation that are just sort of burning questions that you haven't been able to ask before. Could be anything. Wow, I'm so surprised. Normally there's like so many questions all at once. Okay, so a common one I get asked is how do you commit to your manifestation practice, right? So one thing that I like to do is I like to substitute Netflix for my visualization practice. And I find ways where things I can cut out throughout the day where it's sort of like a time waster. And I use that moment to incorporate a manifestation practice. So like moments you'd be scrolling on your phone, moments you'd be vegging out and watching TV. Those are some things that you can do. But anyways, if you guys have any questions. Oh, wait, Penny, do you have one?
I have a little question. I mean, I understand visualization, but can you give us any, for example, I have several things that I wrote down that I feel very clear on. And like, do you put them in a specific, I'm just saying, specific order, or you kind of put them all into one picture? Just, do you have any guidance on how to do it? Because I've done some visualization before and I want to get really clear on what I wrote down.
Right, yeah. So what I like to do is I like to I have a bunch of things like you do. And then what I do is I sort of think about one thing. Usually I think about the first thing, the most prominent thing I want to manifest. And then once I'm like, okay, I've spent some time in that visualization, even if it's just a couple minutes, I move on to the next one. And then I move on to the next one. And then a lot of times what I do is I actually go back to that other visual. So I'm continuously circling through the things that I want to manifest in no particular order. And when you do that, you'll realize that you're able to pick up on details you weren't before. All of a sudden you're feeling more emotion from a certain visual. So you're able to carry that into the next one. So it sort of is just overlapping and kind of compounding in a sense. So you have more success that way if you use them together. Does that help?
Yes, almost like I make a motion picture of my visualizations that I roll over and over in my brain, in my mind. And each time I see it, where you always notice more details, right? When you're watching something over and over.
Yep.
I love that. Okay. I just wanted to be real clear.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Does anyone else have one they want to ask? No? Well, Jen, I guess I'll pass it back to you to introduce our next speaker. But thank you guys so much for listening today. And I wish you all the best of luck in your manifestations this year.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I love how Heather breaks this down. It really gives us some very good tips that we can apply right away. You know, we can start it right now. So now you each got in your box the manifestation blend. So you can take that out and use that right now. As I bring on our next speaker, who is, she wasn't able to join us today. So we're going to show a video of her actually, Elane Huprich. So she breaks this blend down beautifully. I know many of you know Elane. She's going to tell you why these oils, all of the oils in them, and how does this all work together. So you can go ahead and apply that as you're listening to Elane.
Hi, everybody. It's Elane Huprich. It's so good to be sharing this event with you this year again, like we did last year. And I am thrilled to be bringing you the Manifest Blend for 2021. And I got this recipe from Desiree Mangadog. She wrote a book called I Am Fabulous, and that's where this recipe comes from. If you don't have that book, I highly recommend that you get it. If you have it, I'd say pull it off your shelf and make sure that you are using this book regularly. But let's focus specifically on her Manifest Blend. Why would we even use essential oils when we're talking about manifesting? Well, Desiree has a background in acupuncture and in Chinese medicine, and she finds that 99% of all diseases in the body are rooted in the spirit. And so when we get in touch with the emotional aspect of our bodies, it helps us to be able to move forward in what we are working on, because all emotions have energetic patterns and they have very unique frequencies. The purpose of the blends is to help us to be our best self, to move us gracefully through life no matter what our circumstances. And so in order for us to change our thoughts and our emotions behind those thoughts, we need some assistance. And so the oils they're not magic, they're not voodoo, they don't do the work. They assist us in doing the work, in getting in touch with our emotions and not being stuck where we are, and being able to move forward as we connect with our emotional self and we connect with the goals that we have set for ourselves for 2021. So in this blend, you use your doTERRA essential oils, and Desiree describes this as making dreams a reality. She said, for those of you who have many great ideas, yet you've not manifest them into your life, and this blend will help make those ideas become real. You take them, you commit to them, and you make them real. You manifest them. A lot of creative people have this dilemma where their ideas, and sometimes they're very grand ideas, but they struggle to make them happen, and this blend will assist you in that. So in the blend, some of you already have it made up and some of you will be making it up. We use a 5 ml bottle. This is a recipe for a 5 ml. If you don't have a 5 ml bottle, that's a roller bottle, that's okay. You can use the 10 ml, but only fill it to half. You're going to add the oils in the order that they're listed, and then your carrier oil. Now, I tend to use more carrier oil than a 5 ml. So I like making it in the bigger bottle. If you use it and you feel like it's a little strong, that's okay. Just add more carrier to it. So where Desiree suggests using this is you're going to apply it to the inside of your elbow crease and inside your forearm. Okay, so on both forearms and inside the elbow crease and on the back of your neck. Now the frequency would be every day, twice a day. You would do this twice a day, and she suggests between a month to 6 weeks will really bring about the shift in that energy and really be able to solidify the manifestations that you have for this year. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to grab my notes, and I'm going to go through these oils with you one at a time so that you understand why we are using these specific oils in order to make up the Manifestor's Blend. First of all, cypress. You start there. What it does is it opens our spirit and it creates a powerful flow of energy. creative energy. And it reminds us to put our past behind us, and that our past doesn't equal our future. They're two different things. And it'll cause you to create a different life from the one that you have had in the past. Next, we move on to the fur oils. I love Douglas fir and Siberian fir. The fur oils really speak to me, and both of these assist you in letting go of self-sabotage. And so you can, your head will be filled with your new ideas and how to make your dreams a reality. Next is wild orange. Wild orange really speaks to that creative energy. It is, everyone has a lot of beautiful projects in them which are just waiting to be born, and the wild orange helps you connect to that. Myrrh. Myrrh is an oil for feeling nurtured and protected. And you're going to need that along this journey, because what will happen is when you change directions and you are encouraging your creative output, sometimes there's going to be violent opposition to that. It might be from someone who doesn't support you on the journey. It might be from your own self. And so myrrh is going to help you, despite the naysayers, to feel nurtured and to feel protected. And it helps you to remember that there are more people that love you and support you in this journey as you go for your dreams. Next is geranium. Geranium is, what it does is it births feelings of trust. And so we all need trust when we're getting on the right path. Next is coriander. Coriander gives you, it guides you to always be true to yourself. That's a big one when we're manifesting. Next is clary sage. Clary sage keeps the image of your success right in front of you. It's, you are continually reminded of who you are to become. So you're clarifying and keeping that image in front of you. Next is patchouli. Patchouli isn't just a hippie oil that you think of, Woodstock, oh, patchouli. You're all smelling it right now as I even say it. But I would say this is probably one of the most critical oils in this blend, because it brings together all these ideas and it grounds them into your body, okay? So this is the most critical oil for making your dreams a reality, not just for being a dreamer, but taking those dreams and moving forward and making them a reality. Once these ideas are grounded into the body, then they're easier to manifest. Next is Hawaiian sandalwood. Oh, Jennifer knows that's one of my most favorites. Hawaiian sandalwood connects the mind and the heart. You know, the mind is one thing, the heart is something different. And they have to be connected when you are bringing ideas and you are connecting them to how you feel and you're reaching to make them a reality. It's intense. There is intense emotion behind the idea that drives you to act, okay? It's not willy-nilly. It is very purposeful. It is mind and heart. And then we have ginger. Ginger is going to create massive action, because if we stay in the mind, and even if we commit it to our heart, we still have to have that action that moves us forward, and the ginger is a big part of that. Lastly is cedarwood. Cedarwood harmonizes the blend and it circulates it throughout the system. So now you can see what the purpose of each of these is. As we wrap up, I wanted to tell you about two things that really stuck with me. These are two quotes that have come to me in the last few days since the beginning of this year. I was reading Everyday Millionaire by Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan works with Dave Ramsey, and he is with Ramsey Solutions. And he was talking about when he was young, his grandmother, his grandparents were very, very influential in his life. And his grandmother would always say to him, Chris, you say, if it's to be, it's up to me. And she would say that over and over. And he said, I just got that in my mind. If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And he said that she so wanted him to understand that she cross-stitched it for him, and he still has that up in his office today. And he said what it's helped him to do is never to have a victim mentality, or to never give up on the things, the dreams and goals that he has. And so I thought some of you might like saying this quote when you're using your manifestor's blend. And then I have one more. A friend of ours was planning for his daughter's wedding a couple years ago, and he really wanted to lose some weight. He wanted to drop a significant number of pounds before he walked his daughter down the aisle. Now, he is not Steve Martin that I have in this picture, but it's a friend of ours who I did not give permission to tell his story, so I have to be vague in it. But what he did was he said, as I was working to lose those pounds before my daughter's wedding, he said, I would say three things to myself. I'd say, no excuses, whatever it takes, and stay the course. And he said, I would get tempted by certain things, or I would feel like I couldn't do it, and I'd say, no excuses, whatever it takes, stay the course. Now, both these quotes by my friend and by Chris Hogan may or may not resonate with you, but if they do, those would be good verbal things that you can add to when you are applying your oils, when you are reviewing your goals and your mindset for 2021. I'm so glad to be a part of this with you, and I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful year.
Wasn't that great? It was so good. I love, so I'm curious, in the chat box, I'd love for you to put down what oil you thought was the one that most resonated with you. And if you don't remember, that's okay. But if you do, or if you took some notes during that, which was the one oil in the blend that you now have that you're just really glad it's in there? So Penny says geranium. I love that. It's great. Nice. The good news I'm going to share with you is I am recording this. So at the end of this, I'm going to be emailing all of you. You will get the recording. All right. So that's wonderful news, something that Saturday group did not get. So the in-person, and you will also be getting our upcoming calendar, because we always have so many wonderful classes going on, and most of them are actually complimentary. And then there's some fee-based ones like this. So Jordan says myrrh. Let's see what else we have. Douglas fir. Laura. Deborah says Hawaiian sandalwood. Yep. Shelley says geranium. Wonderful. So our next speaker is Alina Hall Sabadish, and I'm really excited that you guys get to hear from her tonight. Alina and I have known each other for a long time now, and she is a wonderful spirit and being. She helps me to stay in the flow, because she is a Pisces like my daughter and my husband, and I need that in my life. But Alina is a yoga instructor, Reiki master, many, many other things, a mama of two spirited young boys who I just love. And without further ado, Alina, if you could join us to tell us all about the vision board.
Yay, thank you so much for the introduction. Spirited is a very good word for them. I am going to start using that more often. I would love, before we dive into the last section, which is really what, just a little bit more about vision boards. We've been going full speed for an hour. So let's just take a moment, to just like stand up, stretch, breathe, take 30 seconds or a minute, maybe interlace your fingers and do a little side to side or some neck rolls, or I love doing some twists. We're moving a lot of energy. We started you off with a very powerful releasing exercise and dove right into all of the amazing tips Heather shared with us about what you want to manifest and being really clear, and really being specific. And so we've done a lot of heavy work. So a lot of energy is moving right now. So just honor that and move and drink some water, etc. Really good point about getting the recording. You guys get to go back and look at this again. I'm so grateful I got to do this event again, because I learned more this time. So So let's dive in. Just very briefly, could you guys either give me a little wave if you're on video, or in the chat box if you have done a vision board before? Let me know with like a thumbs up, a wave, or something in the chat. Awesome. Okay, so mostly yeses. Cool. All right, so then we're done. All done. You guys don't need to learn anything at all. Just kidding. So I have never done. Okay, great. So we have a little mix in here. I have been making vision boards since I was a child without really even knowing what they were. I just thought they were a fun art form. You know, I loved cutting out different pictures and putting them up. And it was a fun way for me to be creative, because I never really enjoyed painting or drawing, but I liked doing the collages. And so I find that the hands-on for me is really just a wonderful way to cement everything that's in our head and to make it real, because there's so much value taking something out of the thought world, which is not physical yet, and bringing it into physical existence. And so that is one thing that's really good about a vision board. And I love that visceral feeling of it, getting that sticky glue on your fingers or ripping pictures out of magazines. So enjoy that visceral physical part of it. And that's part of why it's so powerful. Really, there's no rules. It's whatever you want to do. So I encourage a mix of pictures and words. You can make a virtual vision board. You know, that's something that is kind of fun to do. You can make a vision board that's physical, take a picture, and then use that digital image maybe as your phone wallpaper or your computer desktop. Put it somewhere that you're going to see it often. That really is the most important thing. I'll be honest with you, a great place for a vision board. If you have an altar or a meditation space, that's a wonderful place for it. If you don't, put it in your bathroom, because you use your bathroom several times a day. So you know you're going to see it. So, you know, wherever you're going to see it, bathroom mirror. Mine got so big from Saturday, it didn't even fit on the picture. So I actually used a bulletin board, and I kind of had to it was supposed to be our family planning bulletin board. And I totally turned it into my vision board. So it's kind of humongous this year. I promised Mike I'd get another one for our family planning board. But just put it somewhere that you're going to see it. You know, I love, Jennifer shared this tip, me tapping the picture. Tap the picture itself and maybe tap your heart and say an affirmation like, it is done, it is done, it is done, or so be it, or amen. You know, make it real, make it physical. So the most important thing I can share with you really when it comes to creating your vision board is please actually do it. Because at our in-person event, we kind of we had lunch, and so people they had to do it. Everyone else was doing it, right? You guys could close your computer or your phone and say, I'll do it tomorrow, and not do it. So I'm going to challenge you, whoever invited you to this event, I'm going to challenge you, if you're comfortable with it, when you're done, take a picture of your vision board and send it to that person so that we can celebrate with you, because it is an important thing to actually do it. It's easy to obsess over the little details, I will tell you, especially when you're alone. Don't do that. You know, I love it. Christina says, get ready, Jen. Good. Yes. I'm going to give you guys, try to do it within 48 hours. I mean, try to do it tonight if you can, but definitely within 48 hours, and actually do it. Set a timer for anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes. You really don't need more than a half hour to find your images, and then set your timer again for another half hour or 45, and that's all you have to put it up, okay? Because I've created and then recreated some more, and never actually glued images down. You know, I've had team members who said, oh yeah, I have that folder from last year with my images from my vision board that I never actually stuck up on the poster, right? Gotta do it for real, okay? I just pinned with push pins, since I did it on a bulletin board. So that was an easy way to do it. Glue, tape, whatever you need, whatever you want. And put sparkles on it. I love putting this, you know, the idea, Heather, of putting the symbols on it. I had forgotten that on Saturday, so I hurriedly went and put my Reiki symbols on my vision board right now. So have fun with it, and make it beautiful and make it feel good, and and look at it and make it part of your practice. We were talking about different ways to visualize or to vision, and your vision board is the perfect jumping point. If you have that there, when you go into your manifestation practice, pick an image, start somewhere, you know, where does your heart want to kind of go and be, and then create that mental play and enjoy it, you know? All right. So your homework basically is to create your vision board and to send it to whoever is the reason why you're here. But before we send you off into, into the night or into your day or whatever, let's do a very quick meditation together where we're gonna just practice some powerful techniques using our senses in our mind. And so I just want to encourage you and remind you that we've been taught this terrible phrase as children when people would have told us, oh, that's just your imagination, and written off your imagination as this silly thing, when in reality, your imagination is the most powerful force that you own. And nothing would exist if it wasn't first in somebody's imagination. You know, there was some kind of divine seed planted, they had that idea, and then they acted on it. So your imagination is the most powerful, one of the most powerful visualizing tools that you have. And so use it and enjoy it. And I find this to be really fun because when we try to meditate, sometimes we think, oh, I'm trying to stop my thoughts. In reality, you're never going to stop them unless you're like this Zen master, you know, congratulations, you're enlightened. But for most of us, we have a lot of thoughts. You get to use those thoughts now to your advantage and to use your imagination for a powerful manifestation technique. So we're just going to get comfortable. So if you would just sit tall, maybe put your feet flat on the floor or sit cross-legged, whatever is comfy for you. And you can have the eyes closed, but sometimes that can actually be a little harder to stay focused if the eyes are closed. So maybe keep the eyes open. It's really, truly up to you. I like to close my eyes about 9/10 of the way, but that's just me. And we're going to start just by taking an exhale. So sigh out the air. And take a deep breath in through the nose or mouth. Hold it at the top and sip in a little bit more. And then let it go out the nose or mouth. Get totally empty, blow it out a straw. And then inhale through the nose or mouth. Hold the breath, and as you exhale, drop into your body. And stay in your body. Continue to breathe deeply, those deep belly breaths in and out. And allow one idea, one something that you're going to manifest this year float to the surface of your mind. What's one thing? Because we all have many, but let's just pick one. It can be small, it can be big, it can be somewhere in between. But just pick one thing. Let that idea float to your surface, come into your consciousness. And I'm going to ask you to step into a scene where you are experiencing that thing, that event, that idea, whatever it is. Step into it right now and ask yourself, what do you see? What am I seeing right now? And not just in front of you. Look to the right, look to the left, walk around, allow it to be 360. What are you seeing? Are you outdoors? Are you indoors? Are there people? Is it nighttime? Is it daytime? What colors do you see? What's something so specific? One little detail, and allow yourself to really see it. And the cool thing is your brain sees it, even though your eyes don't. It's the same. And then let's move into the ears. What do you hear? Is it loud? Is it quiet? Is there music? What languages are being spoken, if any? Do you hear any nature sounds? Do you hear the hum of an air conditioner or cars? What do you hear? And allow whatever comes to the surface to be what that is. Take a few breaths. And we're going to move right into smell. What do you smell? Are you outdoors? Are you diffusing oils? Do you smell animals or people? Candles, incense? And as you breathe, really smell it. Maybe cooking aromas. And then let that awareness come into your mouth now. What do you taste? Is it more of the same? Have you had water or something to drink recently? How does your tongue feel? Do you have gum or a peppermint beadlet in your mouth? And then let's go into the sense of touch. And this encompasses not just your hands, but your whole body. What clothing are you wearing on your skin? Is it hot? Is it cold? Do you feel a breeze? What sensations do you feel on your hands? And what sensations do you feel in your feet? And then just take a few breaths and experience that scene again. Experience it from all of your senses. And pay attention to the feelings in your body as you live out this existence. How do you feel specifically in your belly? What sensations are in your belly, in your body? What emotions are you experiencing? And let's start to pull those emotions up into your heart center. Pull them up, bring them up a little higher. And then, like those Care Bears, right? Beam that emotion, those feelings out your heart. Beam it to creation, to the universe. Send an energetic signature of all those sensations and emotions and know that it's done. It exists. It's happened. And take a few deep breaths and just feel how you feel right now and allow yourself to come back into your body. Roll your shoulders, blink your eyes, do whatever you need to do to come back into this time and space. And I thank you so much for joining all of us on this journey and for joining me for this practice. That's just a little taste of what you can do. I cannot wait to see all your vision boards. I'm in all of our oil Facebook groups. If you want to connect with me on Facebook, I'd love to be friends if we're not already. And feel free to share your vision board or any experiences with me as well. I'd love to connect.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Alina. I don't know about you guys. I feel like part of me is still where I was. It was a beautiful meditation. So we love all of you and just continue to stay connected. It's through our human connection that we can show our humanity for each other and bring others into our community, so we can show them that what beautiful gifts we have to share with each other. So I really enjoy, what we've built here, but I'd like to invite others into it, into the space that we have. So I will send you the recording. You can listen, and I hope that everything that you want to manifest in your life this year happens for you in such beautiful ways, and that they unfold in more beautiful ways than you even expect. So thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for
Bye.
bringing us all together.
Bye, everyone.